Hello, welcome. So, in the previous lecture, we actually had a very big introduction. We talked about the size of Indian subcontinent, which included India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and the surrounding areas. We also talked about the diversity, the culture, and we had a little fuzz with the geography as well. We understood how geography of the region has impacted its history throughout. Like India and China are neighbors, but there has been very little contact between the two civilizations throughout history due to the presence of Himalayas. And we also know why these mountain ranges are also called Hindu Kush, which means death to Hindus. And uh, you knew about the different people from India, and India was actually named from river Indus, and the people which are living beyond Indus, they were regarded as Hindus. So the term Hindu was actually related with, you know, more like geography of the region, like people who live in that area, and it was mostly done by Arabs. Now we have also discussed about Adivasis, and we had a little bit interaction on Adivasis, and it was a little controversial as well. We talked about the friction that has existed between Adivasis and the cultural integration that has caused trouble to these communities throughout history, and why these communities have arose against various empires. Today, we are going to talk about the beginning of civilization. When we talked about Adivasis, तो हमने ये जाना कि वो फॉरेस्ट डिवेलर्स थे जो जुम एग्रीकल्चर पे डिपेंडेंट थे, ज़्यादातर जुम एग्रीकल्चर करते थे, लेकिन वो एक जगह कभी टिकते नहीं थे. They never used to settle at one place. So we cannot relate it with a civilization. So when was the first time when humans actually settled in one place in the Indian subcontinent? So which was the first civilization in India? And where did this civilization come from? Who were these people? Were they Adivasis? No, definitely not. They were not Adivasis. But we will just know more about them in a little while. And I'm just asking, questions. And we will be answering every question we have posed at the starting of what we are posing now. Like, कौन है ये जिन्होंने पहली सिविलाइजेशन क्रिएट की हिंदुस्तान में? ये लोग कहाँ से आए थे और ये लोग कहाँ चले गए? What happened to this civilization? Because its end is very controversial. When we reach at the end of the course, you will realize some controversy around it. Yeah, maybe we always love controversy, and we talk about controversy at the end after understanding the subject matter. So there are various questions about this civilization. And why isn't this civilization getting the respect it deserves? इस सिविलाइजेशन को उतनी रेस्पेक्ट क्यों नहीं मिली जितनी ये सिविलाइजेशन डिजर्व करती थी? तो चलिए जानते हैं हमारे इस ऑडियो लेसन में. तो पहली सिविलाइजेशन जो इंडिया में स्टार्ट हुई उसको कहते थे इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन. ब्रोंज एज सिविलाइजेशन भी इसको कहा जाता है. And it started from 2600 BCE to 1900 BCE. The time period is reversed when you reach BCE. So 2600 BCE is actually the past, and 1900 BCE is a little more close to present. And the first civilization which started in India is known as Indus Valley Civilization. Yes, we have talked about why India was named India, because it was due to river Indus. We came to know why Arabs called the people living beyond Indus as they named it Hindus. And now we are talking about the first civilization which ever existed in India was the Indus Valley Civilization. It's also called as Harappa Civilization. It was the first civilization of Indian subcontinent. We have talked about Adivasis in the previous chapter. We have had a little detailed conversation, and we also knew that these Adivasis are actually restricted in the Imic perspective of Indian history. They are not mentioned, but in the Attic perspective. And what's this Imic or Attic? We have discussed it. Like, Imic is the regional history. Attic is history from outside. It's like a, bird's eye view of history. And we came to know about that these Adivasis didn't had any written record. So how do we came to know about Adivasis? And how do historians actually consider them as the natives of India, or the first people who ever lived in India? They were the first natives of India. It was through oral traditions, because they had no written records. The knowledge that passed through Adivasis was mostly through oral tradition. It was like oral storytelling. My father, my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather. It's like that, oral tradition. And the genetics as well. The modern genome study, the Human Genome Project, which which started in 1990s actually. Now, we have not been able to decipher their script. The Indus Valley Civilization, obviously, we're not talking about Adivasis. It was the previous lecture. But now, we have, not been able to know about their script. Script means their writings, but they had written records. It's like, उनके पास written records है Indus Valley Civilization के पास. लेकिन जो उनकी लैंग्वेज है, जो इनका स्क्रिप्ट है, it's something which we have not been able to decipher. Why is it so? It's because of various reasons. Like, I will tell you, generate English language from a list of telephone book records or from a random set of characters. You will not be able to do that. And their script is mostly Bostiferodon. What's this Bostiferodon? It means that they used to, the first sentence, they used to write from left to right. And in second sentence, they use from right to left. And this type of style is mostly found in Dravidian languages, the current Dravidian languages. And what's more interesting is these Dravidian languages are nowhere found in the most of the regions of North India, in the regions surrounding Indus. So where did this language originate from? And who speaks these languages now? This Dravidian language is mostly spoken in South India. When we later discuss about the controversy surrounding this, you will know about this is one of the controversy as well. But I will just leave it at the end of this lesson, but let's understand the basics first. And yeah, as usual, there would be some politics as well. Not intended, not intended, but it's how it is. Everything is political nowadays. The study suggested that they had a very diverse population. Like, it was a mix of everything. What do you mean by everything? They suggested that it was the Human Genome Project has actually worked on it, and they suggest that the population was a mix of somehow Iranian, somehow Central Asian, and from the regions of Europe. They actually did fishing extensively. बहुत ज़्यादा फिशिंग करते थे because they were close to river. तो रिवर की वजह से ये easily fish catch कर पाते थे. तो इसकी वजह से जो इनकी फूड अवेलेबिलिटी होती थी वो बहुत होती थी, वो एक्सटेंसिव होती थी. और इसकी वजह से, because the food is abundant now, food is available in loads, so you don't have to worry about food now. If you can eat properly, roti kapda or makan, if you have the roti, what will you do? You will go for specialization. So that's how you will find in this civilization people doing various things. There were arts, there were crafts, there were coins, there were a lot of things. And these are actually clay coins. These are not the coins you think about now. After 700 years, this city was actually disappeared. This completely disappeared. This Indus Valley civilization completely disappeared. And the last question which I had asked, what happened to them, obviously we will go to answer it at the end of the session. But right now you have to understand, when they disappeared, they were not found out. यानी हमको उनके बारे में कुछ पता नहीं चली until 19th century by British archaeologist whose name was Sir Alexander Cunningham. No, not Chingham, it's Cunningham. But actual discovery was done by Sir John Marshall in 1921, who discovered the city of Harappa. The sophisticated infrastructure of Harappa. And in the next year, in 1922, with the help of Sir Wheeler, these are all British names, and because you have to understand, at that period of time, the whole of the Indian subcontinent was controlled by British Raj. And these, some of them were officers, some of them were archaeologists who were studying this place. And in 1922, it was the discovery of Mohenjo-daro, another site of Indus Valley civilization. So we have studied 1921, the discovery of Harappa, 1922, the discovery of Mohenjo-daro, and in the next few years there were discoveries of various Indus Valley civilization sites, and some of them were even located in India, like Dholavira, which is in the modern day India, and along the coasts of and there were Lothal, there were Kalibangan. These are all Indian sites. Rakhigiri. When archaeologists started digging deeper, they found an amazingly organized city. They found a city which was very organized, which had surrounding walls, straight streets, extensive system of sanitation, substantial houses, and larger public buildings like assembly halls, granary, bathhouses. Mostly there was the use of baked bricks, and the material, the clay which was used, was actually in the form of 1:2:4. So they had some understanding of mathematics as well at that period of time. And each house had its separate bathroom. That's crazy. If you think about the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and still there are millions in India which don't have bathroom. Yeah, simple toilet, what I mean. So each house having separate bathroom in this civilization, this is absolutely crazy. And there was no evidence of palace or temples to indicate a king or priesthood. So what did that means? That there was no sort of autocratic, or whatever you call that, a system where there is monarchy, there was no king, there was not even a priest. So their religion was private affair for Indus Valley people. They always believed that keep your religion at homes. So there was no concept of priesthood. And when we will later discuss about the Vedic civilization, you will know about that priest was a very important element in Vedic civilization. King had the control over temple, and temple had the control over people. It's definitely not here. It's not in Indus Valley civilization. So there was no such thing as evidence of palaces or temples, not a king, not a priest. So you can think about an organization where people actually are doing something. They have organized themselves into something, and they do not need anyone to control them. Now, it's very difficult to actually tell you what it was. If somebody is telling you, I will tell you what it was this, it was that, they are lying to you, simply. Because, as I told you earlier, not much has been deciphered. The language has not been deciphered yet, so we cannot say for surety. And most of these things are actually through various speculations and various things, various sculptures, various researchers, various you can say archaeological discoveries which we have done. Like, for example, in Mohenjo-daro there is statue of priest. The person which you can check in the video, it's at the last, looks like a priest. And what's interesting about him is you will find at one place he's mentioned as the priest king. But as I told you, there was no concept of priesthood in Indus Valley civilization. So what makes him is some regard him as a rich merchant. So there are various speculation about who this bearded man is, but what all agree is he is someone very important. He might be a leader as well, if you believe in leadership. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa had citadels. Yeah, they were closed walls which had square, they had उनकी एक जगह होती थी जहाँ से वो लोग निकलते थे. They had houses built in that citadel system. They had granaries, which we have already discussed, and they even had two-story homes. So even two-story homes have been excavated, and the walls are facing the streets are blank. So what he means here, the author means that people were not opening their main door at the side of street. So they used to have the door or main door on the other side of the street. So there was narrow doorways leading into separate entryway, that indicating that people wanted a well-defined private space. Privacy is very important, When I was once in New Delhi, I remember, it's very difficult to have privacy. It's very crowded. But here people said, no, we are saying yes to privacy and no to social media. Yeah, because social media nowadays is breaching the use of privacy. If you know, you know. If you don't know, You shouldn't know. Standardization in the absence of autocratic ruler suggests a strong shared cultural consensus. I have told you about this. And there was presence of seals. Seals were like order, authority, you can have various it can even be considered as a mark of ownership. You can have a seal that you can just attach a seal to your property. It can be your livestock as well, and that's a mark of ownership. It can also be an order, it can also be an authority, so they were using seals for that purpose. And we have talked about the bearded priest. There was also a dancing girl, the statue which has been referred as a dancing girl. If you can check the video, you can just see the dancing girl statue which I have uploaded. Now, one moment. So we have actually studied all the basics. We have got the basic understanding of this civilization. Now we are ending this. Maybe in 2-3 minutes, we'll try to be as quick as possible by few more facts regarding Indus Valley civilization, and then we will go to the last thing I had promised you about the mystery of Indus Valley civilization and little bit of drama. So this Indus Valley civilization was contemporary to Egyptian, Mesopotamian and Chinese civilization, but its script writing has not been deciphered. And it's very difficult to actually decipher the script for various reasons. Maybe you can think that they were very good in blockchain and cryptography. They're so good that nobody is able to break that code. Maybe we need quantum computers for that. Don't take it serious, but I'm just talking about cryptography. And let's now end this session with, well, there are a lot of things which we can actually put here, but let's now finish this with something which I had promised you at the start of this session: the mystery. I told you that the script which was found in Indus Valley civilization is very similar, and the word is very similar. Similar to what? It's very similar to Dravidian language. And the Dravidian languages are found in the southern India. And so it's a mystery, like how can the people of Indus Valley, which is actually close to the borders of India and Pakistan, like the rivers of Indus, Jhelum and others, the Chenab, will move across the southeast region. And this language, this Dravidian language, is also spoken in Bruhi, a small region in Baluchistan in Pakistan, where this Bruhi language is speaking. यानी वहाँ पे ब्रुही लैंग्वेज बोली जाती है, और वो भी एक ड्रेविडियन लैंग्वेज है. तो इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, they speak sort of Dravidian language. Dravidian language is found in South India, and Bruhi region in Pakistan, in Baluchistan, the tribes there, the people there also speak this language. And this language is not similar to any of the northern languages. Like, it's not similar to Sanskrit, it's not similar to any of the languages which are found in North India and the rest of the Pakistan as well. So what is the possible explanation? The possible explanation which some of the historians have reached is that Indus Valley civilization migrated, maybe some people from there migrated to the South India. Some people outrightly reject this theory. They say no, no, it's not possible, it cannot happen. And they also provide a reason for it, and their reason is on the basis of more like it can't happen. We don't believe this. Like similarly, we don't believe this. But the recent suggestions, this is very interesting point, that there was an excavation which was done in Tamil Nadu, and the region there, the Tamil Nadu's region, was Kezahadi. Kezahadi is a district in Tamil Nadu. There was excavation which was done by archaeologists, and what they found was very disturbing. That suggested that there definitely is a link between the people of Indus Valley civilization and the people of Kezahadi district, or the excavation, not the Kezahadi district, the excavations which were done in the Kezahadi. So they suggest, and the historians which have done this excavation actually agree on the fact that Kezahadi is actually the extension of Indus Valley civilization. But there have been studies which are going on by archaeologists. Indus Valley civilization is very difficult and very frustrating. And we will know right now at the end of the course that why it's very difficult. It's very difficult because most of the remnants, जो भी remnants है Indus Valley civilization, वो अभी भी ज़मीन के नीचे है. They are there still in some of the regions of Pakistan, but those regions cannot be excavated because those regions have like अब किसी की ऑफिस बिल्डिंग ढहानी पड़ेगी, किसी का घर ढहाना पड़ेगा. So obviously you won't dig that, you won't demolish the houses and office buildings and just dig for some ancient civilization. That would be very unintuitive. On the other hand, the Indus Valley civilization hasn't received the same level of international attention as have the contemporary Egyptian, Mesopotamian and Chinese civilizations. These civilizations get a lot of attention, but not the Indus Valley civilization. Why? Why doesn't this civilization get so much attention when these people were so developed? They had a drainage system, they had soaking pits, that they even had bathrooms in every house. That's very crazy. And the biggest fact about Indus Valley civilization is it's very big. It's so big that it's bigger than the modern day Pakistan and Afghanistan. But it all depends on who supports what. The problem here comes is little political in context. And what does political mean? It means कि जहाँ की ये civilization है वहाँ के ही लोग उसको respect नहीं कर रहे. The Indus Valley civilization is from India, it's from Indian subcontinent, it's from Pakistan and India. There are various sites like in India, various sites in Pakistan, but it doesn't get the attention. Why? Because since there's little connection between the Indus Valley civilization and the modern nation, so it's not highlighted. Like if you talk about Pakistan, what do they celebrate? They mostly celebrate the Islamic culture. They talk about the Islamic civilization, the Islamic culture. So for them to celebrate Indus Valley civilization is no, for majority. While in India, what do they celebrate? They celebrate the Vedic culture, the Hindu Vedic culture. For them to celebrate Indus Valley civilization is again not in the books. So in this way, you can call that Indus Valley civilization has not got the same respect, the same level of respect it deserves. Some have even tried to forge things into this Indus Valley civilization. If if you're studying probably history from some other sources, I don't know from which sources, from maybe from local sources, you will actually mostly reading the incorrect data, the incorrect information, and the most of the history would be assimilated, would be manipulated, would be somehow forged to prove the certain narrative. Now this was a little political obviously, and you now know that Indus Valley civilization was the first civilization which started in Indian subcontinent, and now you know that it was one of the largest civilization in the world. And we have ended this session, and thank you for listening. If you were listening, thank you very much. If you still are here, I will just not recommend you, I will just request you to press the subscribe button on your device, whatever that device is. It can be everything. And we will now talk about another chapter tomorrow, and that will be